All right, welcome back, everybody. My name's Token D Rock here with another YouTube video. We are sitting roughly around the same zone we were sitting at yesterday. Bitcoin holding up just around $30,000. Total crypto market cap sitting right under $1.25 trillion. Bitcoin dominance sitting at 46.2%. ETH dominance sitting at 17.7%. Again, ETH is sitting right around or right above $1,800. BNB a little bit above $300. Cardano nearing 60 cents. Solana right around $40. Polkadot under $10. Again, not much has moved. Some of these alts have bled just a little bit since yesterday, but heading over to the Bitcoin 1 minute chart, we can see that Bitcoin did go as low as roughly 29,300. Since then, the bulls have been able to slowly but surely get above the line of support that was previously resistance or turned into resistance. Now it's support. We're back above $30,000. Let's see if the bulls can hold that. Again, we went over yesterday how we saw a head and shoulders uh, pattern play out here on the 1 hour chart. I drew a makeshift trend line. We'll see if this holds. It might need to be adjusted slightly. I'm not the best at doing this stuff just yet. Getting better every day. More you do it, the better you get. So, looking at the 1 day chart, we can see that Bitcoin did rally a few days ago before the end of the month, topped out right around 32.5, 32.6, and then we've come crashing down below $30,000 again. Just to, again, put things into perspective, again, you got to look at the bigger picture, you guys. Where have we seen this before, or possible scenarios that are kind of similar to this one? This looks a little bit similar. We had a nice, decent rally from here up to here, and then we got rejected and we came straight back down. Right here's another example. We had a huge wick up to here, but the very next day we came down lower. Not saying we are going to go lower right now, but you do need to prepare for these possible scenarios that may or may not play out. Another scenario that's kind of like that is this one right here. Again, huge rally, and then little spinning top at the top, and then we start come crashing down again. Again, not saying these scenarios are identical, but do need to anticipate any type of move in the market, whether it's to the upside or downside. Taking a look over on Twitter, I found this kind of comical. Elon Musk from Tesla tweeted this out. Am I being tested again? Is this one of your hardest battles? And Jesus says you literally just need to put your phone down and go outside. And some days I really agree with him, because some days the best thing to do is just not look at your phone, go outside, go for a run, spend some time with family, go watch a movie. I went to check out Top Gun yesterday. I've never seen any of those films. It's pretty cool. Be honest with you guys, though, it felt a little bit heavy on the propaganda side, but again, great movie nonetheless. In other news, we have U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen saying she was wrong on inflation. That's not transitory like she initially believed. And we, the Bitcoin holders, are like, we know this is nothing new. We knew you were lying through your teeth. Matt Esperanza says the new $1 bill design looks pretty cool. He's mocking the insane inflation we're kind of experiencing, not only here in the United States but across the globe. Sorry. And then another great news: Chipotle now does accept Bitcoin. Something to keep in the back of your heads. If you want to buy a burrito and you're out of cash, I wouldn't recommend it. Financial advice, but I wouldn't use your Bitcoin. But you can do it if you choose to. Justin, Goldman Sachs looking to integrate services with Bitcoin and crypto exchange FTX. We're actually going to talk about FTX here in a few minutes. Break third of Americans who make $250,000 per year say they're living paycheck to paycheck. And as you can see, budget stress is heavier on millennials. Over 50% of millennials who make over $250,000 per year are living paycheck to paycheck. Personally, I kind of don't understand this whole philosophy, but I have heard the philosophy that the more you make, the more you spend. So it kind of makes sense. Like everyone's got to tighten the belt that the Federal Reserve chose not to the longest time. They just kept kicking the can down the road. In other news, not to get super political, but uh, DC jury acquits Hillary Clinton's campaign lawyer after he went to the FBI and lied to them about the Trump Russia collusion connections despite direct evidence. Again, kind of going into that narrative that there's a lot of infighting that's occurring right here in the US, and it might get bloody at some point. It might become into like a civil war because tensions are just going to keep boiling until it reaches a breaking point, and then who knows what's on the table. I hope it doesn't get to that point, but kind of feeding into Ray Dalio's whole speculation about how there's a lot of infighting. It kind of accelerates the decline of an empire, and the US is arguably kind of the empire right now. We've kind of been on the top of the world, so to speak, for at least 50 to 75 years. Again, I'm not saying America is number one or anything like that, but that's just the way world affairs have played out here in the past 70, 80, 90 years, pretty much after World War II, pretty unscathed. But look at this. This guy says everything you suspected was true. No one will be held responsible. Clinton ran the Russia collusion hoax via her lawyer going to the FBI. We learned that voting machines are hackable. Transitory inflation was a lie that Janet Yellen, like many others, ran with. Mask mandates don't work. New York Times article says that. Biden family equals crooks. Again, I'm not going to comment on all of this, but transitory inflation was a total BS thing. The interesting thing about the voting machine thing was for the longest time after the 2020 election, whether you believe there was fraud or not, that is besides the point. They insisted the machines could not be hackable. We're learning now that they're worried about machines being hacked going into the next election. It's kind of, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. It's like either the machines were hackable back then and you guys didn't want to admit it because it might uncover an inconvenient truth. Maybe there was some foul play here and there, not saying, again, millions of votes or anything like that, but it could have changed certain outcomes depending on how widespread this hacking was available in Georgia. They're specifically singling out Georgia. Mask mandate kind of interesting because, again, look at this article. It says in cities, pardon me, the train. So the whole thing with mask mandates don't work. This comes straight from New York Times article. In U.S. cities where mask use has been more common, COVID has spread at a similar rate as in mask-resistant cities. It's kind of interesting because they ran with the narrative for the longest time that these work. You just got a double mask, triple mask, whatever. You'll be okay. You can't get sick, blah, blah, blah. And we're finding out that the opposite is actually true. Masks literally did nothing to pretty much spread stop or slow the transmission of COVID. But nonetheless, we still have people pushing that garbage, and the monkeypox going on. Countries like Sweden and others are putting restrictions again, similar to COVID. It's not, I don't know, I'm not going to comment on that. But look at this. Canada still does not allow the people who chose not to take a medical procedure to travel domestically by air, sea, or rail. It is the only country in the world still doing this. Justin Trudeau and his government are not following science. They're following authoritarian rule. Disgusting. And I agree. I mean, just the other day, following the whole Uvalde scenario, the shooting that occurred in Texas the other day, we're finding out that these police officers were standing outside the school for like a good half hour, just twiddling their thumbs because they were afraid of getting shot. It's like, I'm sorry, but I know you don't anticipate a gun shooting or a school shooting, you don't anticipate to go after that, but you realize you're signing up to be a police officer. You may have to be running towards the bullets, instead of away from them. So, again, not to get too political, but it's kind of interesting that Justin Trudeau, following the Uvalde shooting, a few days later announced that you can no longer import, sell, or buy handguns in Canada as a whole. Pretty big deal, pretty big blow to the Second Amendment for Canadians. In other news, we have a barn that housed tens of thousands of chickens on Forsman Farm in Howards Lake, Minnesota. One of the nation's largest egg producers was set aflame late Saturday night. This is a pretty big deal, guys. This farm provided more than 3 million eggs to the largest retailers in the country. The cause of the fire remains a mystery. Just like many other fires at these food processing facilities and stuff like that have occurred in the past few weeks. I don't know why they're all a mystery. I don't know. Like it sounds like we need to hire Scooby Doo and the gang or something like this to solve these mysteries, because all these facilities are just going up in flames and no one knows why. I mean, a few of them was because like there was a plane that took off not too far away there. There's a malfunction with the plane crashed, but even that's still kind of a mystery. But anyways, overnight, a fire destroyed one of our barns at Howard Lake Farm. No one was injured, and we are grateful that first responders were quickly on the scene to put out the fire. Unfortunately, chickens were lost because of the fire. We evaluating the extent of the damage. Appears to be confined to a single structure, as well as investigating the cause of the fire. So on top of supply chain issues, on top of you know, products being delayed for weeks on end and stuff like that, shortage of grain, milk, a bunch of other goods and foods. We have fires like this that are kind of adding to the problem. Mention, although most motorists are not concerned with expensive gasoline or the cost of filling their vehicles, they need to be concerned about diesel prices, because diesel is the engine of America's economy. It's what powers the container ships that bring goods from Asia and the trucks that collect goods from the ports and bring them to warehouses and then to your home. Diesel is used by the farmers to cultivate the food we eat and to power the trucks that transport the construction materials to our homes. Diesel prices are the highest they've been in the U.S. since the government began tracking them. Will likely go even higher this summer as demand remains high, and as forecasters predict this year, we'll see an above average number of hurricanes, which can idle refineries for days on end. In May, diesel prices soared to above $5.50 per gallon. This is 70% rise over a year earlier. Diesel supply has been decreasing almost weekly since January. Could keep falling as more people travel, shop, and drive during the summer months and consume more petroleum products. Unfortunately, I think there's potential for another round of increases, says Tom Kloza, global head of energy analysis for Opus. We've already seen the highest price in our lifetimes, and it could go even higher. So I was reading somewhere that if we don't start replenishing these diesel reserves for trucks, ships, and stuff like that, we could see anywhere as much as potentially 10% of trucks vanish from the roads. Simple math, you guys. 10% less trucks means less goods and products and food on the shelves, meaning that the supply will go down, but the demand will more or less stay the same, and that will equate to higher prices. Simple economics. And if the diesel to bring said goods and food to market, is higher, that also is going to raise the cost that you're paying every time you go to the grocery store or buy things at the store. So just something to keep in mind. I think this is pretty, in my opinion, this is pretty rough, you guys, but we're gonna get through this. Just be wary. Might want to stock up on some goods if you can right now. Again, don't hoard, but maybe buy a little bit extra than you did last week, and continue that habit. And what's kind of funny about a lot of this stuff is, like, if you point out a lot of this stuff, you're like called a right winger for some reason here in America. So and then the funny thing, the comical thing about it is you tell the people that are calling you right wing, you tell them, I hate big banks, multinational corporations, consumerism. I love nature and support environmentalism. And then they're like, wait, you must be pretty left wing, right? You're a leftist, right? And that's the problem with US is it's so polarized. It's like you got to be one or the other. You can't be somewhere in between, like a libertarian or even like a centrist or kind of like that. You're kind of forced to pick one side or the other, and that's kind of how they got us by the balls in a sense, because we're so preoccupied over, oh, you're calling out, the high gas prices. Oh, you must be a Republican. You must be a right winger because you're just focusing on the negative in Mr. Biden's administration. It's like, no, it's healthy actually to call out shit when it's happening. That's like what smart people do. So we can learn from our mistakes and progress forward as a society. But anyways, I think we need to act collectively and act fast, whether it's um, getting some more food and water at the stores every time you go to the grocery store, whether it's to maybe you can stock up a little bit on gas. Don't go hoarding or anything like that, but we need to be prepared. And again, don't be blowing your money on stupid stuff right now, because things can get significantly worse in the markets, and you're going to need that cash to deploy, whether it's to feed your family or whether it's to buy some digital assets at a heavily discounted rate. Just make sure to have some cash on the side in the event that you need it. So have an emergency fund. If you don't have one, try and plan towards one right now. Another thing I want to talk about briefly before we end the video, FTX earn. So for the past few weeks, I've been doing some thinking, and as much as I like Voyager, I'm still going to rock with Voyager, but I think I'm going to start stacking some crypto over on FTX because Sam Bankman-Fried, the guy behind FTX, he knows a thing or two about regulations. He's a very smart dude, and they're offering up to 8% APY on any crypto that you put on there that obviously they allow you to import. Up to $10,000, you can earn up 8% APY on your crypto. So my strategy is I moved over some Solana over there. I'm debating on whether moving most of my Solana over there because I do have it locked up in Celsius. I'm still earning like 5.5%. Kind of debating whether I really want to take advantage of that extra 2.5% on my fat stack, or if I want to just stack like Bitcoin and ETH predominantly on FTX. Because don't get me wrong, Solana is going to go places, but there's nothing wrong with stacking some interest on your Bitcoin and Ethereum, because those, especially considering the market, macro conditions and stuff like that, it's not a bad idea. So if you're interested in that, starting over on FTX, I got a link down below in the description box. I also got a link for Voyager, earn up to $25 free in Bitcoin when you deposit $100 on their platform and get trading within a few weeks. You get $25 free in Bitcoin. If you haven't signed up for the BlockFi Visa Signature Rewards card that allows you to earn up to 3% back on everyday purchases for your first 3 months. After that, 1.5%. I'm telling you guys, you got to move fast. Those little Satoshis that you stack up from everyday purchases, as long as you're paying your balance off at the end of the month, you're getting free Bitcoin to while you're spending money that you would normally spend. You know what I mean? Again, pay off that balance at the end of the month. Make sure you don't carry balance so you don't accrue interest, because then it's not really free Bitcoin at that point. But yeah, I digress. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be notified when we go live next. I will be back into the swing of things next Monday. I'm sorry, I just had some last minute things to handle. I had a nice Memorial Day weekend. I was working and stuff too. So hope you guys understand. Until next time, guys, I hope you guys have a great one. Take care and invest wisely.